Across Australia, New Zealand and the South Pacific, this is the week's Adventist news in focus.
Hello, thanks so much for joining me this week. I'm Sibel Kute. Massive evangelistic efforts in Central America have seen more than 6,000 people baptized into Jesus and accepted into the Seventh-day Adventist Church in recent weeks. According to Adventist Review, 2,500 were baptized in Panama, 2,000 in Nicaragua, and 1,500 in El Salvador in connection with separate evangelistic meeting series. In Guatemala, a 110-year-old man was born again through baptism. Some claim he's the oldest person ever to be baptized by an Adventist pastor. The Inter-American Division, with its 3.7 million members, is the largest of the Adventist Church's 13 world regions. Adventist young people also went large-scale last weekend in celebrating Global Youth Day.
In our towns, in our countries, in our world. In 24 hours, 8 million youth made an impact in others' lives, bringing the gospel to our communities through acts of kindness. This year, we can do more.
Under the theme, Be the Sermon, youth groups around the world skipped church and put a new spin on the expression church service, reaching out to their communities in various ways. A continuous webcast of the post-service celebrations came from 19 locations around the world during a 24-hour period.
The commission has been given. It's time to go. We have been called for such a time as this. We are an end-time generation with end-time DNA, riding on 3 angels' wings. Call us end-time SDA.
Composers, writers, filmmakers, and other creative types gathered at Avondale College, north of Sydney last weekend to consider the challenge of faithful creativity. Local and international speakers with real-world experience in using the arts to communicate the message of Jesus were featured at this year's Manifest Creative Arts Festival. An award ceremony recognised both established and up-and-coming artists. The premier prize, the Gabe Reno Award, went to New Zealand's Jeremy Dixon, whose creativity in the culinary arts, photography and book design was recognised. Jeremy brings the message of holistic living to New Zealanders through his Revive cafes and healthy recipe books. And maybe Jeremy needs to take a trip to the Pacific Islands, where it seems pastors are leading the way to obesity, diabetes and an early death. At a recent meeting of more than 120 Adventist pastors in Fiji, health checks revealed that only 7 were at their ideal weight, and almost half were at risk of diabetes. The problem? Too much sitting in church meetings and being the honoured guest at potluck dinners and other special events. The pastors from Fiji, Samoa, Solomon Islands and elsewhere have agreed to take on a 4-month weight loss challenge by changing their lifestyle, eating healthier, eating less and exercising more. There are more news stories in this week's full half-hour Record in Focus episode, as well as these exclusive segments. Why is the Australian Christian lobby calling for medical marijuana to be legalised?
It can be found that cannabis can be harnessed for pain relief, for medicinal purposes, then it should be allowed to be on the market.
Is it a cake? Is it a loaf? Sue Rad introduces sprouted grain breads.
The true sprouted grain bread is one, as we said, just made of sprouted grains that are put together into a cake with no additives, and it can be particularly low in things like sodium.
And Nathan Brown discusses his new book with a somewhat tentative title of Why I Try to Believe.
It's the things that help me make sense of my faith and to make sense of life and to make those decisions that we do make in life about what's important and good and meaningful and true.
You can see Record in Focus on Hope Channel, the Australian Christian Channel on Foxtel, or free to air on Digital 44 Community TV in Adelaide. And of course, we upload each week's episode to our website so you can watch the program at your leisure. That address is record.net.au. It's been great to have your company this week. I'll see you next time on InFocus Adventist News. God bless.